everyone for this session. Myself Ranjitam from Shakthi International School. I welcome everyone to our series of MySQL Grade 12 SQL concepts. In this first video, we're going to see certain basics of MySQL. So we will get into the session. So in this video, we're going to see the introduction to MySQL, why we have went on the MySQL in our syllabus, and how to connect a MySQL and how to disconnect a MySQL server into a system. And third one, we are going to see very basic queries when you have installed a MySQL on your screen. The last one is how to create a database, how to use the database into the MySQL. So the first and foremost thing is MySQL is a very, very popular language because the reason is it is an open source database. As we know, what is meant by open source, it will be free of cost and you can change the source code of the language. The second thing is the MySQL is pronounced as MySQL. It's not a SQL language. Some people will be pronounced as a SQL language, but it should be pronounced as MySQL. And the MySQL, even though it is an open source, it can able to handle a large databases and can able to produce a fast performance on the large databases. And why we want to go for this MySQL? We have a certain reasons. The first foremost reason is it is free. When compared to Oracle, the amount was very less. The next one easily can be installed on your MySQL. We don't want a person to assist for the installation. Whoever don't have a knowledge of programming easily can able to install it. The third one, in the shell itself, you can able to create your tables, query, all the accessing can be done. And fourth one, easily you can add this MySQL into your Java JDBC connections. And next one, how to connect to MySQL. So if you go to the interactive shell, easily you can create data and you can insert a data. So how to open an MySQL. So once you have installed the MySQL onto your screen, the first thing you want to do, you have to open a MySQL shell on your system. For that, you can directly go to your C drive. There you will find a folder called MySQL. Inside that, you will find called bin. There you have to type MySQL. Then you can open the app. Otherwise, you can go to your Windows and you can search for MySQL. So here I have shown a sample session when we are entering into the MySQL, how the page it will look like. So the page will ask a password which you have given when your installation. So I have given my password. So it will be showing a certain information about MySQL, like the version type and what are the basic comments I should know when I'm entering. And the second thing, if you want to close the MySQL, the same way you have two comments as the termination comments. The first one is quit and the next one is exit. If you give these two comments, immediately your screen will be closed. And here we are going to see a very basic queries when you have logged in. So the first query is finding out the version of your MySQL. So during the installation, you might have checked your version, and after installation, if you want to verify whether that particular version have been entered, yes, you can check it, and even you can able to check with the current date. So I have given two comments. One is a version and the second one is a current date. And this version is a function. Okay, as we all know, when we have a function, it will have a default value of it. And select is a keyword which is used in MySQL. And SQL, the MySQL always should end with a semicolon. All the queries, whatever you are executing on MySQL, it should end up with a semicolon. And the next thing, when you are executing a MySQL query, so you will get the output. Along with the output, you will get two informations. One is how many rows are shown as output. The next one, how much time it has been taken to execute the particular query which you have given. Okay, so if you see here, we have a version and current date. So the version is 8.0 and 0.220 is my version which I have installed on my system, and the date which I have verified this query is on 31st of January, and I have got output as only one line, that is a one row in set, and it took 0.05 seconds to execute this query. Next, as a programmer, if you have a knowledge about case sensitive, so many programming language have restrictions on case. So uppercase and lowercase restrictions. But in MySQL, there is no restrictions on case. So you can use any kind of case for your queries. If you're using an uppercase, you'll get the same output. If you're using a lowercase, you'll get the same output. If you're using a mixed cases also, you will get the same output. If you see here I have used a mixed cases. I have used both uppercase and lowercase, but I have retained the keywords as it is. So that should be maintained. We'll get the same output. And another thing, like easily you can use the MySQL as a calculator also. All your mathematical expectations can be satisfied by the SQL. MySQL. Here I have given the sine term and pi function and a multiplication function and division function. So I have used most of the basic arithmetic functions and the trigonometric functions. So I can able to get the answer easily. So it can be replaced by any kind of calculators. And multiple statements on a single line. I already informed that each and every query should end up with semicolon. So in a same line, if you have executed 4 lines with in between a semicolon, that is also will be expected, or all the 4 lines output will be shown one after another. So here I have used a select version separately and select now, it's a separately. Now is the current time. So both the comments I have given in one by one in a same line. So I can able to get the same output in 2 different things. So it will show the first one's output and it will show the timings, and it will show the next output and it will show the timing. So multiple statements can be applied in a single line. Next is multi-line comments. Suppose you have a bigger query which cannot be accommodated on a single line. Yes, you can go with multi-line comments. But when you're doing the multi-line comments, at end of the last line, you have to complete with semicolon. So I have used select the username of my session. After that, I have used a comma and I have given the current date. So I'm going to get 2 things. One is a username and the second one is current date. So I have used 4 lines, and end of the 4th line, I have given the semicolon. So there also I can able to get the output. So you can use multiple comments on single line, a single comment on multiple lines. Both options are available in MySQL. And while you're typing, you have made any mistakes, that also can be corrected in MySQL. You cannot correct it, but you can suspend that current query and you can go ahead with the next one. So if you decide you don't want to execute a particular comment, so we can cancel it by using a \C. So C stands for cancel. So here I have given the select and then I have given the user. So after that I have given the cancel. So the select user should not be executed. So here you can able to see the output. I have given select user cancel. So it's not showing any kind of output. So the next very important part is database. As we all know, so database is a collection of multiple tables interrelated. So first we are going to see how these databases are created and what are the databases will be default available. So there is a command called show databases. If you give show databases, whatever the databases are available on your MySQL platform will be shown. So I have not created any kind of new databases. Those databases which are installed are alone shown here. So the information schema and the performance schema and MySQL system. SYS stands for system databases. So all 4 databases are installed during the installations process. So if you have created your own database, that also will be shown along with this list. Next, how to create a database, how to use that database onto your system. So first, to create a database, we have 2 keywords. One is create, another one is database. So you give create database. So after that, you can create your own database name. So you can give any name as you wish. So after that, you have to end up with semicolon. So to select, so once you have created the database, so after the creation of database, you have to move to that database before creating a table. So for that, you have to use a keyword called use. So use, after that, the database name which you have created should be given here. So if you see here, I have created a database, create database WebDB. So that has been created. So after that, I have given use WebDB, and that database has been moved to use WebDB. Okay. So in this video, we have seen a very small amount of basics about the databases. In the upcoming videos, we will see the installation of MySQL and the different types of SQL commands which can be used in a MySQL platform. Thank you all for your listening.